Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're diving into the wild evolution of data. We are going on a journey from the flat 2D screens we stare at every single day, straight into fully 3D immersive environments. And, crucially, we're going to unpack the profound, and sometimes pretty scary, safety risks that come with this massive technological leap. It's a fascinating transition, and it's happening a lot faster than you might think. Let's get into it.
Here is our agenda for today. First, we'll look at democratizing data with no-code tools. Second, stepping into 3D visualizations. Third, we'll tackle the perils of immersive tech. And finally, regulating our virtual future.
All right, Section 1, democratizing data with no code or freeing data from the spreadsheet.
Let's start right here in the present. If you work in pretty much any modern business, you already know the absolute headache of hunting down metrics buried across a dozen messy spreadsheets. You've got your project statuses in one app, your inventory in another, and when your boss needs a quick update, you're scrambling to piece it all together. It just doesn't scale. But today, no-code dashboard builders are totally changing the game here. They take that raw, messy, operational data and instantly transform it into clear, interactive, visual insights. It's all about bringing your data into one unified, actionable space. And the best part? Absolutely no coding required.
Now, not all of these dashboard builders do the exact same thing. Take Software, for example. It actually uses AI to build robust internal tools and client portals right on top of your existing relational databases. Then you have Glide, which is amazing at turning standard, everyday spreadsheets into simple, functional apps in literally seconds. Or, if your team is a bit more technical, Retool empowers developer-led teams with direct SQL and API connections. The big takeaway here? We've essentially mastered the art of democratizing flat, 2D data. We can manipulate it, visualize it, share it seamlessly, you name it. But as our tech gets better and better, we have to ask ourselves, well, what comes next?
That brings us to Section 2, stepping into 3D visualizations. Basically, what happens when data leaves the screen?
Think about it. We are no longer stuck behind the flat, two-dimensional monitors sitting on our desks. I want you to imagine for a second that you are doing data analysis on your computer. But instead of just staring at the screen, you reach forward, grab a 2D bar chart, and actually pull it straight out into the 3D physical space around you. What actually happens when data visualization freely flows between our physical desks and the thin air surrounding us?
Well, researchers are already building mixed reality spaces that let you do exactly this. It's like a sci-fi movie come to life. Instead of squinting at a super cluttered graph, you can literally reach out, grab a densely packed cluster of data points, and stretch them toward you into the third dimension so you can see every single detail. Or get this, imagine a 3D scatterplot hovering in the air right in front of you. You can flatten it back into 2D simply by pushing it so it collides with the real-world wall in your office. It's a completely new, mind-bending paradigm for interacting with information. And this spatial leap isn't just some fun academic exercise. It is unlocking some seriously powerful real-world applications. Take the finance world, for example, where speed in interpreting massive datasets is literally everything. You can now represent investment portfolios as fully 3D landscapes. Analysts can physically walk through the data to spot hidden risk clusters or diversification gaps that a traditional flat dashboard would entirely miss. Or think about heavy industry. Engineers are using AR glasses to overlay repair instructions and internal equipment statuses directly onto the physical machinery they're fixing. The promise here is just immense. We are quite literally stepping inside our data.
Which leads us into Section 3, the perils of immersive tech. Let's talk about the dark side of the metaverse. So as we step fully into this immersive data, that optimistic promise of innovation unfortunately crashes into a pretty sobering reality. These virtual environments are introducing severe, unprecedented risks to society. A recent Innovate UK summit, alongside experts from Interpol and academia, highlighted a chilling fact. The borderless, decentralized nature of virtual reality makes traditional policing incredibly difficult. When abuse happens in these spaces, it doesn't just feel like a mean text message on a screen. Because you are physically embodied in that space, harassment triggers the exact same trauma responses as a physical assault in the real world. In the anonymity of avatars, mixed with blurry international jurisdictions, it makes perpetrators nearly impossible to catch.
To really grasp this, we need to break down the specific categories of these new threats. First off, there is an unprecedented loss of data privacy. These headsets are quietly tracking highly granular biometric data. We're talking eye movements, physical gestures, sometimes even your heartbeat. And because of this incredibly deep data collection, bad actors can deploy hyper-personalized fraud and romance scams that are literally tailored to exploit your specific behavioral biases. On top of that, experts are deeply concerned about the psychological trauma induced by VR harassment and the severe risks to children, which includes grooming and underage exposure to adult content.
The psychological danger here is absolutely critical to understand. As the boundaries between reality and virtuality blur, misinformation gains a terrifying new power. It potentially makes it much easier for users to just accept false narratives. The embodied, deeply persuasive nature of VR means it actually has the capacity to elicit false memories and alter our real-world behavior. Experts are calling this a direct threat to our cognitive liberty. Think about it. When you are physically surrounded by data and simulated realities, your brain processes it entirely differently than it does a flat screen. The stakes for truth and mental autonomy have literally never been higher.
Moving on to Section 4, Regulating Our Virtual Future. It's time to talk about building guardrails for innovation.
Look, to ensure the sustainable growth of all this incredible technology, the industry has got to proactively build a foundation of safety. Experts are already proposing some really interesting self-policing solutions. For instance, voluntary safety certification marks for apps, kind of like the quality and safety stickers you see on your home appliances. More importantly, they're pushing for interoperable consent controls. That means you, the user, have true data sovereignty. You set your privacy boundaries once, and those protections travel with you across every single virtual world you visit. The whole idea is to ground these virtual spaces in real-world behavioral principles so we can actually foster lasting trust.
But of course, self-policing is rarely enough on its own. From a legal standpoint, things are changing fast. The UK's Online Safety Act now legally mandates strict guardrails for immersive user-to-user services. Basically, if you build immersive social spaces, you must proactively assess the risks of illegal content and harms to children. You have to actively manage and mitigate those risks, be totally transparent with users about their protections, and establish robust, clear reporting channels. Oh, and you have to balance all of this while protecting users' freedom of expression and privacy. Whether you're a massive tech giant or a tiny startup, these steps are no longer optional.
So as our interaction with data boldly evolves from the flat 2D dashboards we know and love into these deeply immersive spatial realities, we face a major crossroads. The technology to pull information right off a screen and build digital worlds is already in our hands right now. But the ultimate question remains: will we proactively build the necessary ethical guardrails today, or are we going to risk letting our brilliant innovations outpace our safety? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep questioning and keep learning.